even though we don't welcome it in any democracy, it shouldn't happen in the watch of Nana Akufo-Addo, who has been a beneficiary of demonstration upon demonstration. It is a sad story and a sad day for people who believe in true democracy, that we are gradually, eroding, working to erode the gains we have made so far. That is not good enough at all. It is not for fun that the rights of people are, enshrined in our constitution, and they are given protection by the law codes. If somebody now, through a certain action, want to undermine us, then you are taking us back to the era that you and I fought very well to be where we are today. I want them, and I believe in the police must take a sober reflection on this, and then go and read Why Democracy Failed. That book is worth prescribing for them. And then they take the conversation from this. Institutions are not meant for fun. They are meant for, support the efforts of democracy. Without institution, democracy fails. And the police is an important, integral part of a democratic enterprise. So I expect them to live above reproach and do things relative to law. Why have they thrown away all the laws and they are doing their own thing? I'm sorry, we are not in a police state. We are in a democracy. And lovers of democracy will continue to speak the way we speak and resist any oppressive rule and make sure that democracy is maintained at all times.
Palgrave, the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the oppressor?
Roland, I am very surprised this morning with the commentaries that are coming from very well-respected Ghanaians. Now, let me start from around the table before I get on to Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo and Professor Asante. Amaliba calls the Ghana Police Service a bunch of bastards and rogues. That's an inappropriate comment to splash on the very integral police service within the country that have exercised their democratic rights, protected and prevented peace and war from happening, that have ensured that people have demonstrated in a lawful manner, peacefully, that have ensured that you and I, our peace and our properties that we have will not be violated. I am concerned that the NDC and Mr. Amaliba, a lawyer, would describe the Ghana police as bastards and rogues on the national television. I pray and wish that he would retract that, but that is extremely inappropriate comment to make.
No, he said he wants
Secondly,
he says he wants
Secondly, I am also concerned that we just supposed to immediately bring in President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for his ways of democracy and ways of understanding and ensuring that our democracy deepens and our democracy becomes strong and firm in light of this issue. The police has issued a statement. And the statement of the police does state that the demonstration was an unlawful demonstration.
Say so. Had it started?
The police said the demonstration was an unlawful demonstration. People have gathered. Roland, when people have gathered,
my word court.
When people have gathered, you and I know the court. When people have gathered with the purpose and intent to demonstrate and picket at the Jubilee House.
Are you interrogating him?
But when
who said that the demonstration was unlawful?
When you were speaking, did anybody interrupt you?
But he has a duty. I'm calling on him to interrogate you.
He had the special duty to interrogate you as well, and prevent you from making such statements of calling the police a bastard and a rogue in a civilized country like this.
This is not a civilized country. You don't know what civilized country
is. Well, this is a civilized country. Maybe it's not a civilized country from where he lives, but in this country, Ghanaians are civilized people. we do not want to acclaim ourselves to words that would cause mayhem in the future.
Would you
for
say
us.
the way the police treated demonstrators was any sort of exhibition of civilization?
How did the police treat demonstrators?
Hey, you couldn't see. Play it again. Let him remove his glasses.
How did the police treat demonstrators? The police is preventing demonstrators from having an unlawful demonstration.
Was that prevention?
Did you see how people were rushing into the police station in an attempt as though that civilians are in combat with police? Let's be really very careful and mindful with how we churn out certain narratives.
They could have created a cordon
Very
to stop
much.
people from coming in. Did they do it?
Very much. Let's be extremely very mindful,
Please,
with how we have these narratives and churn it out. Now you bring in Kumi Preku. You bring in demonstrations that have been held in the past. Those demonstrators
Are not related.
had civilized demonstration.
hey,
Very much so. Those demonstrators had civilized
And
demonstration.
this one was uncivilized.
And it's important.
This was uncivilized.
That's what it means.
Can I have the table?
Please,
Can I have the table?
That's what he means.
You can't insult Ghanaians like that.
Can I have the table?
You cannot
Yeah, you
insult
have the
Ghanaians
table.
like
Let's
that.
go ahead.
There is no insult in this regard to the Ghanaian
insulting.
people. There is no insult.
They're
to,
uncivilized.
There is no insult.
They are uncivilized.
There is no insult at
That's
all.
what you're telling us.
There is no insult at all in this regard. There is no insult at all.
So clarify yourself.
God, you have gone to have a demonstration that is unlawful.
That hadn't
Who
even
said that?
started.
Police
It
have
hadn't
stated
even
it. They have
started.
gathered.
Who
It
said
hadn't
that?
They have
started.
gathered.
It hadn't
They have
started.
gathered. Are they the
But
jury?
who said that
Please.
Are they the
it's
jury?
unlawful?
They have gathered.
Who?
They have
Who
gathered.
said it's unlawful?
All right.
They have gathered.
Are you done? Let me.
No, but let me finish my point. You are
finish.
heckling me.
Me.
No, everyone on the table.
Yes, because what
Please-
you're saying
please
is wrong.
End. Have you ended?
Roland,
Yes, please.
let's be very clear with ourselves in this country. We have independent institutions that are mandated by the Constitution to be able to exercise their democratic and constitutional mandate. One of that is the Ghana Police Service. A call of where the IGP is neither here nor there. The IGP
And
of
they
this country
exercise
has
it
not
by
changed.
force. They exercise it by force.
The IGP in this country has not changed.
okay.
The IGP in service is still Dr. Kufu Dampare.
Okay.
The police has issued a statement. And so let's be extremely mindful with how we churn out the narratives, because it influences the thoughts and the patterns of the Ghanaian people. And I will not sit here
The civilized Ghanaian people.
I will not sit here for anyone to bring in President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for being an unlawful president, to bring in President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for seeing to it that people are causing mayhem. I think that it's important we have
was
these,
the reasons
we have
for
these
the
conversations
demonstration?
in perspective.
What was the reason for the
Dr.
demonstration?
Nyaho Tamaklo has been involved in demonstrations all these years. He calls that he hopes and prays that there's no bloodshed. Now, the comments we make on national television is important for the posterity and peace of this country. And as a statesman, I think that it's important that when we have statesmen come on public TV and make comments, it's important that certain comments are restrained.
You're strained because of what?
Because in this country, there is not going to be any bloodshed.
What are you talking about?
In this country, there's not going to be any
What
bloodshed.
do you
talking
call the
about?
action of the police yesterday? I asked you. You said it's the demonstration rather behaved uncivilized.
I think that
don't
when we
understand
call for
Don't
both, we
understand
need
you.
to be able to look at the two sides of the coin.
All right.
Every sword has a
understand you.
two-edged sword.
Okay.
Do you understand? Every sword has a two-edged sword. So if you are calling a blame of the protesters and you are calling a blame of the police, then we need to set up a committee to be able to investigate that.
Did they
to
match?
see.
All right. So yesterday I did consultations widely as all these things were ongoing, and one of the key individuals was Samson Lade Enyenyene. We all know him. He's our colleague. He's also a legal practitioner, and so he said he was going to put up a write-up. So he sent it to me as well, because the police did issue a statement that they had served the demonstrators. Now he says that you purport to exhibit to this publication what must be the notice served on you a month ago by the law-abiding citizens. What you should be exhibiting is proof of service, being affidavit or service by an authorized process server of the court. Now, he says And Samson again continues. Samson is a lawyer. He says, granted there has been service which the organizers deny. When an applicant says such an application, it is not for the applicant to tell the respondent what to do or not to do. All right. It is up to the organizers to decide what to do. If they decide, like the EC has, and is going on with the limited voter registration exercise, despite admitting it has been served a similar application, your job is done.
I was going there.
At the end of the day, you also don't repeat your shameful and lawless conduct during the Let My Vote Count demonstration, because there's no order of any court to enforce. And your applications are not lawful orders to be obeyed.
So that's why I said in my earlier submission that police do not enforce mere applications being filed. You enforce an order
From the court.
And was there an order from the court? No. But you see, I don't want to go into his tantrums. There are serious matters here. Somebody is missing. According to this reporter, one of the demonstrators is missing. So this guy, he's missing. The guy that you showed him, that he's missing. His phones are off. He's called, the name is there. He's called, I can't find the name exact. Albert. He's called Albert. So the police service produced Albert. I think he's the man who was in smoke. They were beating him up, and then produce him.
The one that we saw
here.
The IGP met the protesters at 10 o'clock this morning.
After how his officers demonstrated.
But I called the police institution as a bastard and a rogue institution. So differentiate between individuals and the institution. That's 101 lesson for you. Now, the issue is this, that the police has always been under the control of the executive. And once the police is under the executive, anything untoward done by the police, the executive will be held responsible. You have gone to court. You have filed an application for injunction. The injunction has not been heard, and already you are taking the law into your own hands. A police administration. And why wouldn't I call them the names I'm calling them? I've received a message from a senior police officer who says that he is ashamed at what has happened. He's not happy as a police officer to be, to have a collateral damage coming out of this issue. Some policemen are not even happy with what has happened. And you, a government official, you are on this program calling Ghanaians names.
Uncivilized.
Ghanaians are not civilized.
I didn't call Ghanaians uncivilized.
Uncivilized.
I didn't call Ghanaians uncivilized.
Why should that be coming from a government official?
There are 32 million Ghanaians. Were they all part of the
Ghanaians are
demonstrations?
Ghanaians.
Look at the number of people who are
Ghanaians are
demonstrations.
Ghanaians.
I didn't call Ghanaians
Continue.
uncivilized.
The Akufo-Addo administration has gotten to its wit's point. I think the administration has gotten to a point where they cannot renew themselves. And that is why they are now using the police to harass innocent Ghanaians. And I think that time has come for them to raise up their hands and live quietly for this country to move on.
Abi, let me tell you, the president has checked out.
The president has not checked out.
He has checked out.
These are the comments that
This is
are
the president who
not. These
said
are the
that.
comments.
Listen,
These are the
listen,
comments
listen.
that are not.
So I have this
How
one.
has the president checked out?
Gentlemen,
How has the president checked out?
So
let's see whether we say anything about
No.
it.
How has the president
Let's
checked
see
out?
No,
whether
please,
we say
listen.
anything about
So
this.
I have-
He's in America.
I
He
have-
should even have made a statement from there.
Look
The
at
presidency
look
should
at
have
look
said
at this.
something.
Look at these.
I have
Look at
this
these.
from a big entrepreneur, Sakura, who says the few people who protested yesterday were a representation of the 32 million Ghanaians. A lot of
We are
people should have been on the street too. Okay? The protesters were speaking for us. And I, for example, as a businessman, God bless and protect these demonstrators for representing us.
Let me add insult, sugar to injury. On another subject, please, because we don't have time. And this will affect people's work.
Really?
Yes. Influx of Chinese companies into transportation of petroleum products.
They're transporting.
Centio, the refinery. Who gave them the license to build? Who? And when they started building, did they have the wherewithal to build? It took MPA to go and stop them. And there is a plan in place. And what's the plan? They've got a refinery today. Tomorrow, what will they do? They will now have petrol stations. They want to transport refined petroleum products that are meant for Ghanaians.
Along the value chain?
Yes, along the value chain. They want to transport it. They have brought nearly 600 trucks in to this country. Who are behind it? Is it right? People's livelihoods are going to go down the drain. And then 10 years from now, 5 years from now, you realize that our oil and all the petrol stations are now handled by Chinese. What kind of country do we live in? What kind of government do we have that they do not want to get Ghanaians to be part and parcel of the system? How many sectors in this country, the economic sectors in this country are handled by Ghanaians? You look through.
Ghana beyond aid.
Look through. It has to stop. Ghana has to do something about it. It is wrong.
A warning coming. I will take a look at it. You're heckling me.
I'm sorry.
You're heckling me,
sorry,
please.
Roland.
Okay, so let me go. Dr. Sasante, your wrap-up comments on this. And then also on Nkrumah Day and your own observations as a political scientist. Please, let's hear Dr. Sasante. Stop heckling me, please. Now, let's go ahead.
Let me, yes, as I've said, we want to save this democracy. So the things that we do must conform to rule of law. Institutions are necessary to make sure that democracy survives. We will continue to support the cause of democracy in this country. So any aberration, we'll be quick to point it out. This one, police got it wrong. But let me move on to celebration. As we saw, Kwame Nkrumah, the great man of all times. I must say that for me, he's a leader that lived way beyond his contemporaries. Yes, people may have different views, but that's my view. Yesterday, we celebrated Nkrumah's birthday. A good thing. Nkrumah mean a small boy in the Ghanaian politics, and there are a whole lot of literature about him. Time will not permit me to recount them, but we saw Nkrumah as a tower of everything, even I admit that he has his own problems, which I criticize him severely on that. But beyond that, Nkrumah did a lot. Yesterday, we say we are celebrating his birthday.
Let's continue from here.
Yeah, you wanted to say.
Roland, I find it very interesting, really, when...
It means that
okay, please, it's back.
21st
Nothing of interest.
September. But it's something I want to bring to the attention of everybody.
Okay.
79. If you read that, Nkrumah said that his mother told him that he was born after 45 Kundum festival.
Okay.
The network is bad. Let's just continue in studio.
Hello, Dr. Sasante. Well, it's gone off.
Yeah.
It's gone off. All right, so that's where we end the show. Thank you, gentlemen. Doc, are you back?
No. The network.
Doc, are you back?
The network.
Yeah, your network. I think we're having difficulty with your network.
He can continue on social media.
Hello? No, we seem to have. So I have a couple of messages. Individuals who have sent that messages right here on the stream. We also encourage you to cash out. So cash out comes with a short code *439#. And then Imelda Nassar says Nkrumah, JJ Rollins, Nathaniels in one body. And then adds more as well. And then this one says, okay, Musa Kabisa, Amaliba is becoming, okay. So I personally chose the MPP boy. I personally was an MPP boy, but to have all these difficulties is a problem. That's Adams Nate. Now, Obrimpong Kaba, Evans, Samba, and all of you who have joined us this morning. We're happy. But Abraham Maliba, thank you very much. Lawyer Jantwa, thank you very much as well. We'll follow this up. Excuse me. Excuse me.
No, just a minute.
No,
I want to make a comment.
Oh,
no, Roland, take your time.
Let me watch. We'll personally follow this up. You will tear the paper.
No, wait. Roland.
It is my letter.
I know,
my
but
letter.
you have put out a public statement, and it's important, Roland.